Welcome back. The Rice Unfiltered podcast again here on the Rice House YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and the like with Dunlevie family head football coach Scott Abell here in just a few moments. And we have Lou Caralla, Al's strength and conditioning coach, going to join us in our next segment coming up here in a little bit here at his home base. We thought it was nice enough to bring him on finally, that we're invading his space with head coach Scott Abell. Good victory Monday as we record this one. How you feeling?
I feel good, right? You want to get that second victory under your belt. We talked about taking momentum into conference play, and now we've put ourselves in that situation, right? We opened up our campaign 2-1, and a lot of momentum, a lot of positives, and a lot of room to grow, right? And that's what I told the team in our meeting Saturday night. One of the things I'm most excited about when I watch us and I evaluate us is the ceiling's much higher. I think we're playing hard. I think we're giving great effort. It's just the execution part of new schemes is not always as clean as you want. And with that said, that means, hey, there's a lot of room to grow. And I think that's a really good feeling going in to conference play, knowing we're playing good football. We have momentum, yet there's still room to grow. So excited for that, excited to get conference play underway.
You mentioned that 2-1. That was on my prep. I didn't know this until I read it yesterday. You're the first Al's coach with 2 wins in his first 3 games since Al Conover in 1972.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't really pay attention or care much about those things. It says a lot about our kids. Yeah. Right. It says a lot about my staff, right? And really from day one, how people have bought in and gotten on board with our vision and direction we want to take the program. And, right now we're concerned about week 1 in the conference.
Let's break down a little more of that Prairie A&M game for just a second. They score first. What changed on that response drive? You told us at the half and after the game, Chase Jenkins told us, hey, I knew I had to, for lack of a better term, get things going. That's my paraphrasing of it. What changed for Chase and the offense to get things going after Prairie View went up?
Well, I think for us, it's just having a sense of urgency. I've talked about it for weeks, about having the training rules on the offense, or at times me being too conservative and holding them back. And, I think for the group and the unit holistically Saturday night at the beginning, they started out conservative. Our players did. And I think the encouragement of, hey, turn it loose, stop thinking, and play and execute. And then I think we scored our next 4 or 5 drives straight. So excited to see them do that. You knew that we were capable of that. And having the opportunity to get it done was exciting to see.
How about Chase specifically? Another nugget Chuck and the staff gave us. First Al's quarterback to rush for 100 yards since Taylor McCard. Amazing game, Coach. 2012, we fell short to Marshall, but Taylor had 153 in that game, and most in a Rice win since the great Chase Clement did it almost 20 years ago. So I think you want to see more of that, but how good a timing was that for Chase to have a game like that this early in the season?
Well, I think it was important for Chase. Not necessarily for myself or the offensive staff. I think Chase needed that boost of confidence. We thought he's done a really nice job of operating the offense, but, having the opportunity to really get out, showcase his abilities inside the offense and what he brings to it, I think it was really important for him to see, and I'm excited for him. And it exactly what we thought. He's very dynamic with his legs, and as that took off, you saw the passing game get better, right? And it's not by accident. They kind of go hand in hand. So it was a really big growth Saturday night for our program holistically. And I'm excited to see what the next week holds for us.
347 yards rushing, the most Rice has had in 4 seasons. Again, I know you expect more of that with the nature of the offense. How nice was it to get a great rushing game like that under your belt?
Oh, well, anytime you run the football like that, you give the program a chance to succeed. And that's really the key, right? You control the football. You put some great ground attack together, and I think it makes everyone better, right? And, it is kind of what we expect. You said that, and I thought we floated with it week 1 of really being able to do that, just missed on some opportunities. Week 2 against Houston, kind of up and down. I think we had a 60-yard run called back. We had some negative plays that kind of kept us from really churning out some bigger yardage. So to see us put it all together Saturday night was important, and to get all three phases of that run game going, right? You know, we've seen our running backs get out. We've seen Q Jack and Dalen make some plays, right? Even D Hard. And then Saturday night, you saw Chase, our quarterback room, have a big night. You saw those slots get more involved. That's only going to make us better as we now take our next step.
Yeah, speaking of the slots, I know you're not looking at my notes, but that was next, kind of a 3-in-1 question. Aaron Turner has the run. Tyson Thompson, his first touchdown as an Owl. He's been there, his third year now. And London Ransom Goals, who missed last year, his first touchdown in a couple years. What's it mean to any game just to get those guys involved that have worked so hard to get those reps?
Well, I think it's crucial. I think for us to be successful, we must make defenses defend, right, horizontally and vertically across the field. And that showed up Saturday. We were able to do that, get the ball out wide, really force the game on the perimeter, whether it was passing game or run game, and that opened up some downfield vertical threats as well.
You played 78 players.
Yeah.
How big was that in a game where I knew coming in you said, hey, we want to get a look, we want to get the win, but maybe get some look at some other guys. What did it mean to get that? And then getting Patrick Creighton Jr. a few reps there towards the end at quarterback especially.
Well, I think throughout the entire program, I thought that was big Saturday. When you have that opportunity to play more roster, that helps everyone grow, develop. We talk about that's the kind of program we're going to be. And so to give up so many young players the opportunity to get their feet wet in real life situation on the field was huge for us, especially going into a short week, right? So you're able to rest your starters more, right? We played 3 quarterbacks, played a lot of running backs. Defensively, a lot of people played, right? We had majority of freshmen on the field there at the end of the game defensively. So proud of those guys, and it's a great learning lesson. Now you have film to show them, you can evaluate them, and you can coach them up. Live game situations different from practice.
Yeah, I don't want to leave out the defense, but I'm glad you mentioned them. What did stood out to you in that game and even these first 3 games about the defense so far?
Well, when we started the game Saturday, we all probably sleepwalking a little bit there in that first half of the quarter. Not on purpose, but maybe, you're coming off a rivalry game where you're disappointed. You got your conference opener coming on Thursday night on ESPN. Whether you realize it or not, my guess is that first 5 minutes we were a little bit, sleepwalking. And you take that away from that defense, and, man, we've been lights out exceptional on defense all year long. That first drive is not indicative of who we are, and I'm so proud of that side of the football and how they have risen to the occasion, how they have adapted to a new staff, right? How they've adapted to really a holistic approach to the program. We talk all the time that the units need to feed off each other, and this is an incomplete program approach to the game of football, right? It's not a defensive unit, offensive unit, special unit. It's important that all 3 phases feed off each other for us to be successful, and you saw that coming together. Defense has just done a fantastic job all year long, and we expect that to continue as we start conference play.
Yeah, speaking of, that's coming up, a short week, going to Charlotte. Just the short week first, what's it do? Just pushes everything back a couple days, like the old saying. It's as we record this on a Monday, it's really Wednesday, all of that, which is true. Is it just a compression of all the time there in a couple days less?
Yeah, I think it's that, certainly. And then it's also how do you approach it, right? Because, if we're looking at it in that lens, that meant Sunday night was Tuesday. Well, we can't quite run the practice the same way. So certainly made Sunday night meatier for us, but it wasn't like a Tuesday practice. Tuesday practice typically are physical, they're inside, full go. We couldn't do that Sunday after a Saturday game. So there are some adjustments, and I think how you handle that as a program, not just on the field, but off the field, can have a lot to do with how you play on that short week.
It's a primetime game. Yeah. As an audio guy myself, I'd admit, hey, being on national TV, it's obviously a big deal. What does that mean to get the exposure here, 4th game into your tenure here?
Oh, it's fantastic, right? And that's the direction we want to go, and all players are excited about that. I'm sure Charlotte's excited as well, and it should be just a great opportunity for the program to really showcase itself on national stage. And like I said, Charlotte, I'm sure feels the same way. And, 2 programs with new staffs and a lot to prove. Should be an exciting Thursday night.
And you going back near a place that's like home, one of your coaching stops there up the road in Davidson. Yeah. What's that mean to you as you get ready for this game, going back to a period of your life that was so monumental? You probably wouldn't be here without that. Good, they only knows, but
no, I would agree. We have a lot of we have some family still in the greater Charlotte area. My daughter and her fiance are there, and but we have also a lot of friends, right? That we developed through the years. My wife and I believe wherever we go, we plant roots pretty quick, right? We get it involved in the communities, and Davidson is no different. As now that we're here at Rice. And so when you do that, you develop relationships. So I'm sure there, we'll have a good contingency of Rice fans that are in the greater Charlotte area that will be there with blue and gray on. I'm excited for that, and we'll need all the help we can get.
Tell us about what makes up Coach Albin's team, what separates them, because they've had the close win against Monmouth. They played the game against Bill Belichick where they failed to North Carolina there, but first-year coach going through some of the same things, but with Coach Albin's track record, he's going to field a really solid club. What have you seen on tape?
Well, that jumps out at me. I think they're incredibly well coached. I think they play really hard, right? I have so much respect for Coach Albin, what he's done in his career as you watch his program unfold, and as he's developed now here at Charlotte, right? What he did at Ohio was fantastic. And so, they're going through some of the same things we're going through, right? They're learning each week and they're growing each week. And I think, they have begun to find their offensive identity, which, we need to be prepared for, right? They found passing game last week that was really successful for them. They got in a groove. They got in a rhythm. I think defensively they played really hard. And so those are characteristics. If you watch Tim's teams at Ohio, they all jump out. They all play really hard, right? They're incredibly well coached. This Charlotte team looks like that as well. So he's done a fantastic job. His staff has done a great job. Like I said, it's an exciting Thursday night, and we need to be at our best, but we look forward to that trip.
The man whose office, in a sense, we're just outside here in the Patterson Center weight room, Lou Caralla, coming up next. We'll have an in-depth talk with him. But what drew you to him and that connection? He's in it. I was just joking with him before going on. He's kind of going back home as well, because he was just at Charlotte. So talk about that relationship and what Coach Carella's meant for y'all.
Well, he was a very early phone call for me, right? Both programs were going under a staff change. And so I had known about Lou through some coaches, some staff members that had worked with him at Charlotte or other places, and knew if I ever had the opportunity and could afford to hire Lou, I would. Fantastic reputation. Our philosophies and vision on the football program, training program, and off season, they mirror each other even before we started working together. And he has done a fantastic job. When you think about the people that your program interacts with the most, each player, for myself, the head coach, I interact with every player. And then outside of that, Lou does and his staff, right? They interact with every player. The rest of the coaches interact with all the players too, but not as personally, individually as the core group I just mentioned. And so, having the right strength coach is imperative, right? If you're going to be the program, we're going to be developmental program, that was a must. And so landing Lou to come to Rice, I'm honored, I'm blessed that him and his family thought this would be a great stop for them. And there's no doubt he makes us better every day. And he is. He would spend some time at Charlotte, as everyone knows. Same thing with Mark Hogan, our special team coordinator.
That's right.
Right. And so, it's not just Scott Abell kind of heading back to Charlotte and the East Coast. There's quite a few people on our staff that will have ties there. That we're hoping for a great Rice contingency to come out and support the Owls.
Coach Hogan, the first touchdown in Charlotte 49ers history.
That is true, and there's a mural in their facility, unless it's been taken down, of Coach Hogan after that touchdown. I'm excited for those guys that they're going to have an opportunity to see some family and friends and reconnect back in the greater Charlotte region.
Well, thanks for the time. I know it's tough on a short week squeezing things together here, but see you out on the trip and get that dub, okay?
Looking forward to it. Go Owls.
Rice Fight. That's Scott Abell, Dunlevie family head football coach for Rice House. Stay tuned. Coming up next, the aforementioned Coach Lou coming up here on the Rice Unfiltered podcast. Well, we're in his house, so to speak. The least we could do is have him on. He interrupted a workout or two to join us here on the Rice Unfiltered podcast. Strength and conditioning coach in his first year, Lou Caralla. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
So, on the other episodes we've been recording, we're catching you in the middle. You're obviously more than respectful with some of the background noise, but how often do you work out? Because we're coming in here, it seems like every time I come in here, you're setting the tone for the guys I'm working out. So is this the time of day you like to get it in? What's your usual routine?
Normally it's 4 times a week, but lately I've kind of been down, hurt myself a little bit, so I've been doing a little bit every day. Not too much, so yeah.
Well, we just had Coach Abell talking about what stood out about you coming here to South Maine. What drew you to Rice, and obviously appealed about Coach Abell, him trying to get things going here in the program?
Yeah, so Coach Abell to me has been one of the biggest blessings I've had in my career so far. I met him on the interview. I knew people that knew him, and I had an opportunity to interview with him. And that interview, we just kind of hit it off with our beliefs, our systems that we thought work and are good for kids, and just how you run a program. And I think that's what really drew me into him, and I believe got me the in-person interview after that, and eventually to get the job.
Did you always want to be a strength coach? Tell us about your desires wanting to get into this field.
When I was a player, I was kind of confused what I wanted to do, but my junior year, I figured out, like, I did an internship in South Florida because I'm from Tampa. And that summer, while I was still playing Division III football, I worked out with USF and I coached the 3 lift groups every day. So after that 2007 summer, I knew this is what I wanted.
And what challenges you most about the job, or what fires you up and motivates you about this job on a day-to-day basis?
Everything. I mean, it's kind of funny because I don't consider it a job. I just consider it who I am. And I kind of found that natural knack or what I really wanted to do with my life. So I come in every day very determined to get the guys going, but honestly, I just truly love it myself to be involved with a football team still. I still love going to war with the guys and training them all year and making them believe in each other. There's a lot I could say about that.
You are an inspiration to so many of the players, specifically the young players, kind of teach them, hey, this is what college ball is all about. Who inspired you to get into this, or who continues to inspire you?
I had great mentors in this profession. Nat Bayless, number one. He was the head strength coach at Mississippi State when I was GA. Ryan McKeefrey, Aaron Roman. I mean, there's so many guys I could list, but my dad has always had faith in me. My mom's always had faith in me that, I mean, this career has been brutal. It's kicked me to the curb multiple times, and I just kind of been fortunate to get the next opportunity. But so many people are fake across this whole country, honestly.
Yeah. Tell us, some people think, oh, the strength coach, they lift some weights. And we've talked about in the past having Hans on and all the strength coaches we've had as long as I've been doing this. But you, with the parameters and bylaws, you get to be around them so much longer in the off season. Take us through kind of that timeline, what you get to do and how you try to phone that culture, especially with the new coaching staff, how you try to do that.
So it's very important day one that you get off to a great start with energy, with excitement, with passion, with really good fire in your heart to get going. And we did that here, and it was awesome. I don't think these kids will ever forget day one. And then from there, just being consistent as a coach. Don't be a different guy every day. Just show up every day. They can count on you to be the same. And I try to give them perspective about life too after every workout, where it's not just, we're just lifting and getting stronger. It's we're like trying to create men.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about some examples. When I was talking to John Long in the off season, He really credited you with helping the rest of his life, or how you helped him remake his body. I know he put in the work and he said that, but just what have you seen from him and being able to be such a strong force there on the line, what he's made himself into?
John had one of the biggest transformations I've ever seen anywhere I've been. He's lost 35 pounds. He's making all his times in the runs. He's doing every workout so much better now. He's one of the strongest kids we have, and he wasn't. He was out of shape. He was breathing hard. He was really struggling, but all the credit really goes to him because of how much he bought in.
I know most all the guys are like this, but who are some other stories where you're, even though relatively you've been here such a short amount of time, that they've made the strides, and hopefully you'll see that later on in the season too, but who are some other guys that have made some great progress in the short time you've been here?
The 225 bench numbers really stick out a lot. So like Andrew Alle was like 11 to 27 reps. We had guys that went from 9 to 22. Like Marcus Williams is another guy that you wouldn't think would be very strong, but he's very strong. So is like Hardiman, Fresh Byers. I mean, these kids are very strong, and they're just freshmen. So that really shocked me. But guys like Blake on D-line, you go from 18 reps to 33. It's just a testament to their work ethic that they bought into. I know the program will work if you work, so and these kids worked. So it was fun to watch.
Yeah, isn't Blake one of those guys that, and I've been fortunate to know him a few years now, he's nasty, but the good kind of nasty, and it seems like he's taken his game to that next level because of the work he's done in these walls, huh?
Again, Blake is another great story of conditioning. At first it was harder for him, and he was always in the back, and then towards the end of the summer, we never noticed where Blake was because he was keeping up with the whole pack. So,
pound for pound, who are a few of the strongest guys on the team that maybe we wouldn't think would be the strongest guys?
Hardiman is definitely up there. Marcus Williams is definitely up there. You got Brandon Walker, who's a receiver, but he shocks me a lot. But the linemen, I mean, some of them, even though they're bigger, like Pat Vallant, John Long, Aquinas Clemens, Bots, Arabasala, like these guys are pushing real weight, and it's the middle of the season almost, and I'm just proud of a lot of their improvements. So,
how do you adjust a program throughout the season? What different things do you have to regulate or watch out for as the season goes on? Because you obviously want them the strongest at the end of the season.
The off season is definitely more intense. They got a strenuous load with workouts, with running, with football work. When the in season begins, it's really, how can I keep them the strongest without being sore for practice and feeling fresh for the workload that they have. So that's really the biggest difference, and it's less.
Mm-hmm. Earlier, you talked about energy and enthusiasm. Well, went viral a few times with some of your quotes. So I wanted to read a couple quotes, and if you could expand on them. One that I like, you had: winning isn't loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. What does that mean to you, and how do you express that to the guys?
Well, so like I do here, like I've done everywhere I've been, I give a message of the day after every workout, whether the camera's there or not. And when I was at Georgia Tech, they really started posting all the videos from their account, which ended up going viral. That one in particular was, I learned that from Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan's trainer. And that wasn't supposed to get posted. I had to apologize to Tim Grover that I wasn't taking credit for that. But to me, that is really, as soon as you win a game, what are you doing the next day to get back to that moment? Because the next day, no one cares what you did. And honestly, every time you win and you get pats on the back, I feel like everyone just cruises after that. They don't pay attention to the detail. They don't pay attention to their rocker. They don't pay attention to doing all this extra work on their own because they won. When really, in reality, you got to work harder after you win.
Yeah. The old Bill Parcells rat poison quote he talks about. Another quote that I really like: average people do little work and think they should be winning, and winners do all the work and finish. What was the rest of that?
Yeah, lazy people do a little work and think they should be winning, and winners work as hard as possible and still work if they're being lazy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Does it guarantee you're going to win? No, but winners are always paranoid about their own potential. And if you're not going to beat someone. Like if you're not paranoid about what you're capable of all the time, someone else is, and you're going to face that person soon. And that's what I'm trying to teach every kid. It's not your talent that's going to get you somewhere. It's not your ability. It might have got you here. It's not going to get you to the next stop, and it's not going to win games. You have to take advantage of discipline, accountability, toughness, effort, being a good teammate. Like, there's so much more than just your talent.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine that's big in the recruiting process too. You're being very selective, as Rice has to be with guys they get. A lot of that is, do they have that makeup to go through this hard work around here, right?
Yeah, these kids are the best, though. I mean, they're such good kids. They care so much about the details, which I just said. I mean, any coaching that I give them, they take and they run with it. It's truly been the best to coach them.
Yeah. Tell us about the rest of your staff. It's not a one-man or a one-person army. Let's give some love to the rest of the coaches, because on road trips, it's just a fascinating thing to see behind the scenes. And even before recording these, is just you have so many talented, hardworking folks behind the scenes.
Right. Corey Dahl, assistant director. He was with me at Charlotte for 2 years. Unbelievable guy, very talented in so many avenues. Great athlete, great example for the kids. He's just, I'm lucky to have him. He played in North Carolina. He's got a whole history. He's a pastor. So he is a true example for a lot of kids, and done a great job for me. I love him. Colin Belvin, another guy that just takes care of all of our sports science and does an amazing job. I think he does one of the best jobs in the country with what he does for our team, to let them know what their layers are, how much more they need, build-ups to hit their 90% speed every week. Like, he does a great job. And then Gage, Garen Burrell, our return to play coach, that all these guys are with me at Charlotte. So we have history together, and I trust them all with a lot. So I count on them every day. I couldn't do it without him.
Yeah. You mentioned the science and the tech. Is there anything new coming around that you can take advantage of, or is it just about moving those around more to get as strong as you can, as quick as you can?
There's always something. There's always a new article. There's always new technology. There's always new things you can buy, of course, but I don't get lost in all that. At the end of the day, you got to be tough. You got to be physical. You got to care. You got to work really hard. And I think that in the end is how that works is different for a lot of people, but I'm proud of the way we do it here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of folks excited already. Just in the short time, very appreciative of you lending us your office, and thanks for everything, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Coach Lou Caralla here on the Rice Unfiltered podcast. That would do it for another episode. Rice and Charlotte coming up. Stay tuned. We'll have more fun here on the podcast airwaves. Have a great rest of this day or night. God bless. Go Owls. Rice fight. We'll talk in another edition of the Rice Unfiltered podcast.